Genesis chapter 21. The Lord kept his promise and was gracious to Sarah. Just as he had said, he did for her exactly what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and gave birth to a son for Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had told them it would happen. Abraham named their newborn son Isaac, the child Sarah had borne him. When Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him, just as God had commanded. At that time, Abraham was 100 years old. Sarah said joyfully, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me." She added, "Who would have ever thought Abraham and I would have a child at our age? And yet here I am, nursing a son in our old age." As the child grew and was weaned, Abraham celebrated the occasion with a great feast. But during the celebration, Sarah noticed Hagar's son, the Egyptian slave woman's child, with Abraham mocking Isaac. Disturbed, Sarah said to Abraham, "Get rid of that slave woman and her son. He will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac." This deeply upset Abraham because it involved his son. But God said to Abraham, "Don't be distressed about the boy and your servant. Do whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be counted. But I will also make a nation from the son of the slave woman, because he is your son too." Early the next morning, Abraham got up, prepared some food and a container of water, and gave them to Hagar. He placed them on her shoulder, gave her the boy, and sent her away. Hagar wandered aimlessly in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water was gone, she placed the boy under a bush, then sat a short distance away, thinking, "I can't bear to watch the boy die." And she began to sob. But God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said, "What's the matter, Hagar? Don't be afraid. God has heard the boy crying where he is. Get up, go to him and comfort him, for I will make him into a great nation." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw well. She quickly filled the water skin and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the wilderness and became a skilled archer. He settled in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. Around that time, Abimelech came with his army commander, Phicol, to speak with Abraham. He said, "God is clearly with you in everything you do. So now, swear to me here before God that you won't deceive me or my descendants. Promise that you'll treat me and this land where you have been staying with the same kindness I have shown you." Abraham said, "I swear it." Then Abraham brought up a complaint about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. Abimelech replied, "This is the first I've heard of it. You didn't tell me, and I didn't know anything about this until today." So Abraham gave Abimelech sheep and cattle, and they made a treaty. Abraham also set apart 7 lambs from the flock. Abimelech asked, "What's the meaning of these 7 lambs you've set apart?" Abraham replied, "Accept these 7 lambs from me as a witness that I dug this well." That place was called Beersheba, which means well of the oath, because that's where they both made a promise. After they made the treaty, Abimelech and Phicol returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he worshipped the Lord, the eternal God. And Abraham lived in the land of the Philistines as a foreigner for a long time. Genesis chapter 22. Sometime later, God decided to test Abraham. He called out to him, "Abraham." And Abraham replied, "Here I am." Then God said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. There, on a mountain I will show you. Sacrifice him as a burnt offering." Early the next morning, Abraham got up, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his servants and his son Isaac with him. He chopped the wood for the burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey. Isaac and I will go over there to worship, and then we'll come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac. He himself carried the fire and the knife, and the two of them walked on together. Isaac spoke up, "Father?" "Yes, my son." Abraham replied, "We have the fire and the wood." Isaac said, "But where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And they continued walking together. When they arrived at the place God had shown him, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied up his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But at that moment, the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," the angel said. "Do not harm him in any way. Now I know that you truly fear God, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in a bush nearby. He went and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named that place Yahweh-Yireh, meaning the Lord will provide. And to this day, people still say, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven and said, "This is what the Lord declares. Because you have done this and have not withheld your only son, I swear by myself that I will surely bless you. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me." Afterward, Abraham returned to his servants, and together they went back to Beersheba, where Abraham continued to live. Sometime later, Abraham received news that his brother Nahor's wife Milcah had also borne him children. The firstborn was Uzi, then Buz, followed by Kemuel, who became the father of Aram, Kest, Hazo, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. These were the 8 sons Milcah bore to Abraham's brother Nahor. Nahor also had a concubine named Reumah, who gave birth to Tebah, Goham, Dahash, and Makkah. Genesis chapter 23. Sarah's death and burial. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died in Kiriath Arba, which is also called Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham went to mourn and weep for her. Afterward, Abraham stood up from beside his wife's body and spoke to the Hittites. He said, "I am a foreigner and a stranger among you. Sell me some land so I can have a proper burial place for my wife." The Hittites replied, "Listen to us, my lord. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the finest of our tombs. None of us will refuse you his tomb to bury your dead." Abraham stood and bowed before the Hittites and said, "If you are willing to let me bury my dead, please speak to Ephron's son of Zohar on my behalf. Ask him to sell me the cave of Machpelah, which belongs to him and is at the edge of his field. Let him sell it to me for the full price as a burial site among you." Ephron the Hittite was sitting among them, and he replied in the presence of all the people at the city gate. He said, "No, my lord. Listen to me. I give you the field and the cave in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Go ahead and bury your dead." But Abraham bowed again before the people and said to Ephron, "If you are truly willing, listen to me. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me so I can bury my dead there." Ephron answered, "Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver, but what is that between us? Go ahead and bury your dead." Abraham agreed and weighed out the 400 shekels of silver, according to the market rate, and gave it to Ephron. So Ephron's field in Machpelah, near Mamre, the field and the cave in it, and all the trees within its borders, was deeded to Abraham in the presence of the Hittites at the city gate. Afterward, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave of the field of Machpelah, near Mamre, that is, Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Genesis chapter 23. Genesis chapter 24. Abraham was now very old, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. One day, Abraham said to his senior servant, the one in charge of all he owned, "Put your hand under my thigh and swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I live. Instead, go to my homeland and my own relatives to find a wife for my son Isaac." The servant asked, "But what if the woman refuses to come back with me? Should I take your son back to the land you came from?" Abraham replied, "No, never take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me from my father's household and my native land, and promised me this land for my descendants, will send his angel ahead of you. He will help you find a wife for my son from there. But if the woman is unwilling to come back, you're released from this oath. Just never take my son back there." So the servant placed his hand under Abraham's thigh and swore to do as he was told. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels, loaded with many of Abraham's best gifts, and set out for the town of Nahor in Mesopotamia. He made the camels kneel down near a well outside the town. It was evening, the time when the women came out to draw water. The servant prayed, "Lord, God of my master Abraham, make me successful today and show kindness to my master. See, I am standing by this well, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming to draw water. May it be that when I say to a young woman, 'Please let me drink,' and she says, 'Drink, and I'll water your camels too,' let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. Then I will know you've shown kindness to my master." Before he had finished praying, a young woman named Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. She was very beautiful, a virgin, and no man had ever touched her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. The servant hurried to meet her and said, "Please give me a little water from your jar." "Drink, my lord," she said, and quickly lowered the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After he finished drinking, she said, "I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have had enough to drink." She ran back to the well and drew water for all his camels. The man watched her silently, wondering if the Lord had made his journey a success. When the camels had finished drinking, the servant gave her a gold nose ring and 2 gold bracelets. Then he asked, "Whose daughter are you? And is there room in your father's house for us to stay?" She replied, "I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor. We have plenty of straw and fodder, and a place for you to stay." The man bowed down and worshipped the Lord, saying, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. The Lord has led me straight to my master's relatives." Rebekah ran home and told her family everything. Her brother Laban saw the jewelry and heard what she said, so he rushed out to the well. He found the man standing by the camels and said, "Come, blessed of the Lord. Why are you standing outside? I have prepared the house and a place for your camels." So the servant went to the house, and Laban unloaded the camels and gave them straw and fodder. Water was provided to wash the feet of the servant and his companions. Food was set before him, but the servant said, "I will not eat until I've told you why I'm here." Laban replied, "Speak." The servant said, "I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has greatly blessed my master and made him wealthy. He has given him flocks, herds, silver, gold, male and female servants, camels, and donkeys. Sarah, my master's wife, gave birth to a son in her old age, and my master has given him everything he owns. My master made me swear an oath, 'Do not get a wife for my son from the Canaanites, but go to my father's household and find one there.' I asked him, 'What if the woman won't come back with me?' And he said, 'The Lord will send his angel with you and make your journey successful. But if the woman doesn't come, you're released from the oath.' So today I came to the well and prayed, 'Lord, let the woman who offers me a drink and waters my camels to be the one you've chosen for Isaac.' Before I finished praying, Rebekah came out. She did exactly as I had asked in prayer. So I gave her the jewelry and asked who her father was. When she told me, I worshiped the Lord and thanked him for guiding me directly to the family of my master. Now, if you will show kindness and truth to my master, tell me. And if not, let me know so I can look elsewhere. Laban and Bethuel answered, This is from the Lord. We can't say anything against it. Here's Rebekah, take her, and let her become the wife of your master's son, just as the Lord has said. When Abraham's servant heard this, he bowed down to the ground and worshipped the Lord. Then he brought out silver and gold jewelry and clothes and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and mother. Then he and the men with him ate and drank and spent the night there. In the morning, he said, Send me back to my master. But Rebekah's family said, Let her stay with us 10 more days, then she can go. The servant replied, Don't delay me. The Lord has given me success. Send me on my way. They said, Let's ask Rebekah. So they called her and asked, Will you go with this man? She said, Yes, I will go. So they sent their sister Rebekah, along with her nurse and Abraham's servant and his men. They blessed her, saying, Our sister, may you become the mother of thousands upon thousands. May your descendants possess the cities of their enemies. Then Rebekah and her servants mounted the camels and followed the servant, and he took her back with him. Meanwhile, Isaac had come from Beer Lahai Roi and was living in the Negev. One evening, as he went out to meditate in the fields, he looked up and saw camels approaching. Rebekah also looked up, saw Isaac, and got down from her camel. She asked the servant, Who is that man coming to meet us? The servant replied, He is my master. So she covered herself with her veil. The servant told Isaac everything that had happened. Then Isaac brought Rebekah into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he married her. She became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Genesis chapter 25. After Sarah's death, Abraham married another wife named Keturah. She bore him several sons: Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan became the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan included the Asherites, the Letushites, and the Lumites. Midian's sons were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All these were descendants of Keturah. Abraham gave everything he owned to Isaac. But to the sons of his concubines, he gave gifts and sent them away to the east, far from Isaac, while he was still alive. Abraham lived a total of 175 years. Then he breathed his last and died at a good old age, having lived a full and satisfying life, and he was gathered to his people. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah near Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite. This was the same field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites. Abraham was buried there alongside his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who lived near Beer Lahai Roi. Now, here is the record of Abraham's son Ishmael, whose mother was Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant of Sarah. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, listed in order of their birth: Nebaioth, the firstborn, then Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Dumah, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These 12 sons were tribal leaders, and their descendants formed 12 tribes. Each ruled their own settlements and camps. Ishmael lived 137 years. Then he breathed his last and was gathered to his people. His descendants settled from Havilah to Shur, near the border of Egypt, all the way toward Ashur. And they lived in hostility toward all their relatives. This is the account of Isaac, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel the Aramean from Paddan Aram and the sister of Laban. But Rebekah was unable to have children, So Isaac prayed to the Lord on her behalf. The Lord answered his prayer, and Rebekah became pregnant. As the children grew inside her, they jostled and struggled with each other. She said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to ask the Lord. The Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb. Two peoples will come from within you and be separated. One will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When it was time for her to give birth, she discovered she was carrying twins. The first to come out was red and covered with hair like a furry garment, so they named him Esau. Then his brother came out, grasping Esau's heel, so he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when the boys were born. As the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter and outdoorsman, but Jacob was quiet and preferred to stay at home among the tents. Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game Esau brought home, but Rebekah loved Jacob. One day, Jacob was cooking stew when Esau came in from the fields, exhausted. Esau said, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm starving." That's why he was also called Edom, which means red. But Jacob replied, "First sell me your birthright." "Look," Esau said, "I'm about to die anyway. What good is a birthright to me?" Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So Esau swore an oath and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate and drank, then got up and left. In doing so, he showed how little he valued his birthright. And this was the journey of Abraham's final days and the beginning of Isaac's story. But the story doesn't end here. In the next video, we will continue with Genesis chapters 26 to 30. Have a happy life listening to Holy Bible.